Okay. Okay. Hi, good morning, everybody. It appears, Kevin, that we have a quorum, so I will call the meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody could do that, please. Okay.
I pledge allegiance
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which
it
it
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all. You know, is it possible for us to get a bunch of little flags to give out to people? I mean, I'll even pay for them so everyone could have a little flag to look at for sure.
Oh, I have a big poster in my office. I stare right at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the town of Hebron should give out little flags to everybody so they can have them in their home if we're going to do virtual meetings. So I think it would be a good
costs
gesture.
money.
I'll be
Just
quiet.
add a picture to the agenda. Add a
Okay.
picture of the flag to the agenda.
Okay, you hear that? Stick a flag picture in the agenda.
I can do that. The coloring
Okay.
will cost the town millions, but I'll do it.
Very good idea. Thank you very much. So we all can have our flag. Excellent. Because I actually have a little flag, that I picked up from someone's yard. And stuck in a flower pot in my office. So, okay. All right. There's only one item on the agenda this morning. Excuse me. And that is to approve the operating budget for 2023 and 2024. And the budget was presented in the materials that were handed out for the meeting of January 9th. I hope everybody has a copy of that.
Yes.
Okay, and if Kevin perhaps would want to put it up for us, share it with us. And typically, I would ask for a motion to approve it and then take amendments. But I think would probably be more expeditious to see if anybody has any changes or thoughts about this, questions or anything else before we have the motion to approve it. Because we can then put in suggested amendments before we actually vote. So I'm opening it up to anyone who would like to be recognized to comment on the budget.
Pat, I would like to. This is Gail.
Yeah.
The initiative to increase the hours by 4 hours to open at 10 on the other couple of days of the week, I cannot support that. The library is not used that heavily between 10 and 12, yet we would be paying staff, and the staff could end up outnumbering the patrons. We're a small town with 9,200 people. We're already open 47 hours a week. To open those additional 4 does not seem like a good expenditure of money to me. I do like the idea of opening the library 2 hours more on Saturday. That has been a concern of mine for a long time. People say, well, I work all week. I'm out doing all my errands on Saturday. I cannot get back into town by 3 o'clock. And that was my fault when I was working. I could not do that either. So I never went to the Hebron Library. I went to Glastonbury because they were open later. So that's my thoughts on the budget, Pat.
Okay, Gail, to ask you, you're saying that you would add 2 additional hours on Saturday.
Yes.
And how would that affect the request for the budget?
Oh, that does. That's in the packet. It does.
Okay.
It is in there. And that, I think, we want to present a budget that's reasonable, that we can give some logic to the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance. We want it, and opening those additional hours. I know people come to the library on the wrong day. Oh, today it's not open till noon, and they get frustrated. But otherwise, as I deal with other libraries around the state, they don't all open at the same time every day, and it's just a fact of life. We're not floating with money So I don't think it would benefit enough people, but opening later on Saturday would benefit a number of people who will then make them library supporters.
Okay,
Yeah,
so my question would be, just for me,
Mhm.
keeping track of things, how would that affect the numbers that are in the budget right now?
I don't
It
know,
would-
Kevin.
yeah, it would roughly just cut that initiative one in half in terms of what it costs.
Mhm.
So my further comment on that is, so Gail is part of the strategic plan, you were on all those meetings. A big issue, one of the main things that people responded to in our surveys was that they wanted the library's hours to be consistent across the board. I would agree with you. I think opening up later on Saturdays is certainly more important than opening from 10 to 12 Monday and Wednesday. This is just this was thought of as a step to get towards that ultimate goal of having the hours be consistent during the week and then 10 to 5 on Saturday. If we asked for 2 hours this time, the first 2 hours I would go with would be 3 to 5 on Saturday for sure. If we get 4, for the sake of simplicity, that's why I thought it would be more understandable to the public to do 10 to 12, 2 days instead of splitting them up and making the schedule possibly more complex. But
Okay,
so Gail, do you disagree with the thought altogether that we shouldn't be pushing to open to 10 every day in the morning? Or is it just a matter of priority? You think we should look at Saturday first?
Well, right now it's priority, but no, I don't see it. The cost of bringing in staff and not benefiting enough of the public. I can't sit that in my head. Dealing with the town budget all the time, as we go through budget hearings, something has to be important enough to tell the taxpayer you're going to pay for it. And those 2 days a week, on the 2 days that we open at 10, the library is not swamped with people. So to open another 2 days, I know it's frustrating.
I think it
I
is.
want to
We're
get something
as
out of the
busy as-
library and I drive up and, oh, shoot, it's Wednesday, I can't get in. That is frustrating, but we have a lot of frustrations that we need to deal with, so.
I
so,
think we
so
may be
Gail, what-
busiest from 10 to 12, Gail. That may be our
Excuse
busiest
me?
time. That may be our busiest time. Let me pull up those charts.
okay, Gail, no matter what, you're suggesting that we only request 2 extra hours, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so,
And we'll get a good bounce for $1 out of that.
okay, so no matter what, we would have 2 hours to smoosh up sometime during the week. And you're suggesting the best time for those 2 hours would be Saturday, correct?
Correct,
Got it.
yes.
Okay,
I might mention that at the December meeting, we discussed all of these additions. I don't think Gail or Pat were there.
No.
But we did
No, I
discuss
wasn't.
all of this, and we approved all of them, that they be a part of the submitted budget. I'll simply say that.
okay, so right now, we're going to be voting on what, what's going to be submitted. So that's good to know. And did you say that everything was approved?
All of these extra hour charts, all of them were discussed and were approved, and it was decided that we would have all of it included to be submitted in this year's budget.
Okay, now was that a total of 4 additional staff hours?
Whatever those charts, whatever they all
Okay.
say,
Okay,
we
Yeah.
said that we would submit all of them.
Mary Ann, I do apologize for not being there, but there was no way that I could tune into. I did not attend my Board of Selectmen meetings either. So
I'm not saying
it's
that, I'm just
unfortunate,
saying that
but
we had discussed it, and the majority of those that were present at that meeting did approve them. That's all I'm saying. And I saw Jack, I know how you've been doing, or not doing. Anyway, I
Okay.
just wanted to throw that out, that it had been discussed and generally approved in December.
Kevin, do you remember how many hours were approved? Was it 30? How was it 4, 2?
Right?
So we talked about asking for 4 this year as kind of a step process to get up to, I believe it's the 10 that we would need to accomplish the full goal that we were looking for. And then we decided to ask for 4 this year because we wanted to be a little more aggressive than 2, but not so aggressive as to ask for everything all at once. And then with the idea of asking for 4, that's where we came up with the idea of trying to do 10 to 12 Tuesdays and Thursdays, because it just seemed a little less complicated than going from 3 to 5 on Saturdays and then just deciding whether we wanted to do Tuesdays or Thursdays to be open earlier.
Okay, Kevin, thank you. So
And
could you go
that
ahead and
came from the
present?
survey. The 1012 came from the survey.
Okay, Kevin, could you substantiate that and present your rebuttal?
So I've got our gate counts, average number of visitors per hour per day up on the screen now to see. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we average, about 20 people per hour, a little less than that from 10 to 11 on Thursdays, which, our peak is kind of early afternoon, but it's not far off from that. So it's as busy as any other part of the day. I'm sympathetic to the argument that everything costs money and that maybe this is, it's up for discussion whether this is worth the taxpayers' money or not. But these 2 hours of the day on each day would be well served by the community. There we would have about 40 people each day using it, so an extra 80 people each week, 80 gate counts per each week. Now those gate counts would be higher 3 to 5 p.m. on Saturday, but it's just a matter of it's a communication issue.
Yeah, because it looks like from what you're saying that you have more traffic on Saturdays totally per hour.
We do.
And that, it looks like the way it drops, there's a significant drop between 12 and 2 or 3 rather. But, that may be because the library is closing in an hour or so.
Right.
So it's possible that you would have basically a carryover of the higher numbers if you were open additional 2 hours.
And I think we're all open. I mean, I know I'm open to asking for 4 and hopefully getting 2. I would hate to ask for 2 and then get 0, but we may ask for 4 and get 0 too. And that's, I understand all of that. My theory is just that you won't get what you want unless you ask for it. So
okay,
ask for it.
Can I just, Kevin, can you just clarify so that we all know exactly how many hours we're adding? Are there other hours besides these 4 that we're talking about now that are in the proposal to restore some hours that were taken away?
So the 2 proposals, I'm just going to stop sharing so we can look at that.
yeah.
The 2 proposals, one of them is to open the library for 4 additional hours. So that translates to 16 staff hours. For every hour that we're open, we have 2 people on the main desk and 2 people on the children's desk. So if you're open for 4 hours, that's actually 16 staff hours. That's initiative number 1. Initiative.
Wait a minute, Kevin. I'm looking at mine and I see 32 additional staff hours.
Are you looking at January or are you looking at an earlier version?
I'm looking at the one that was sent out with the last meeting, January 9th. Was that changed?
I'm looking at the packet from January. And
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Oh, you're talking about the separate sheets of paper.
Yes.
Okay,
So
because when I look at the grid, it appears that it's a different number of hours.
Looking for the charts with all the highlighted yellow totals.
Yeah, Pat,
Okay,
you're
hang
right.
on.
There's a mistake on the budget there. It says 32 additional staff hours. The amount is correct, but it's 16 additional staff hours.
Okay, because that was what, okay, now I understand. Go ahead, sorry.
So that's the initiative 1, to open the library for 4 more hours. It's 16 staff hours plus a little bit more in utilities. costs.
Okay,
So the
and-
initiative 2 is to restore 4 additional staff hours per week, and this has to go, this refers to 4 years ago. During that budget, we cut down the amount of hours that we had at the desk from, I think, 181 to 161. And we did that in order to raise the hourly rate for the part-time desk people from $10 an hour up to about 13, without having any budgetary impact. That's added a lot of extra work for the full-time staff, and there are a couple of tight areas there that it would be helpful for us to have an additional 4 staff hours, so that the full-timers are managing.
Thank you.
Less.
Thank you for clarifying that. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood how many total additional hours we're looking for. And as to adding money for the overhead, when you're adding, if there are additional hours, isn't the full-time staff already there? So we're, the heat's on, the lights are on. I guess I'm not clear on why we would need to add additional overhead for those hours.
You very well may be correct, Donna. Some of the things, the building kind of heats up a couple hours before everybody gets there, so it may go on a little bit earlier in the morning. Some things will be more heavily used. I was trying to be conservative in my estimates and not ignore those potential costs of computers being more used and everything. So
And
yeah, I
okay,
agree
thank
with you. The
you.
impact could be less than 3.
Some of the overhead. And just as a reminder, when Kevin's presenting those hours and the dollars related to the hourly rate for the staff, what you're not seeing is additional expense in other areas of the budget that are not under Kevin's purview. And it's FICA, Medicare, workers' comp, insurance, those type of things that add, when we're adding hours here, there's a corresponding increase in other areas of the budget that need to be considered.
Okay.
So I think for this year, based on what we're hearing from other departments, I think the very conservative request, and we increase the hours gradually over the next few years, but I think we probably just go in with the increase for the Saturday hours.
Increase
and
for
then-
Saturday
And then restoring the,
Restoring.
the hours that Kevin wanted to restore. I
Okay,
think
so
that would be more well received. Thank you.
okay, so you're talking about increasing by 2 hours and restoring 4 hours. Is that correct? Okay.
No, I understand it as just the 2 hours on Saturdays.
You're talking 2 hours on Saturday to open, to increase the library's hours for the public, but the staff hours is to restore them. It is not increasing the libraries being open.
Right.
Okay. All
Does
right.
that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right. More discussion. Anyone else have any thoughts on this? Dale, Emily, MA? Okay, my thoughts are that we are hearing from the representative from the town manager and also the opinion of a selectman, which of course is not binding, but is a personal opinion.
It's a personal one.
Yeah, so that it will be better received if we go for this budget. And when you say better received, in not mine, that in my mind means, oops, more likely to be approved.
Right.
Without question and zip right through, very easy, so to speak. And because of that, I would suggest going along with Gail's suggestion and Donna's suggestion that we be more conservative in what we're requesting, getting the restoration of the hours for staff, and then taking 2 hours to open, 2 extra hours for opening. And in looking at the numbers, it looks to me also like Saturday would be the better choice. Because we would, if we get 2 extra hours, we only get 1 of the 2 days, which is not going to alleviate the confusion about what hours the library is open. There's still going to be irregular hours during the week. So that's my thought. Can I have other people's thoughts on this?
I think we would get more people into the library with those 2 hours on Saturday, better serve the public. And that also has the effect of gaining support for the library, because we want to keep the library in the public's eyes favorably.
Okay. What I'm going to call for then is a vote to amend the budget that we're going to be submitting. And the first motion I would like is that,
Pat, can I just comment
that-
quickly
oh,
before?
I'm sorry. Are you,
Just
sorry.
real quick,
problem.
I agree with everything that's said, fine with that, but just regarding the building costs and what
Okay.
Donna referred to earlier, from 3 to 5 on Saturday, the building is not normally staffed, so it's more likely that these will be accurate. So just that point.
Okay.
Does that help you, Donna?
I think that is accurate. What Kevin said, that is accurate. That will be additional hours that the building is open, that it's not normally open. Yes.
Okay.
I would move that we extend the Saturday hours, but not the weekday hours. And I hope that's clear enough. We wanted to add weekday hours to, make it all consistent. So drop that, but add the Saturday hours. That would be my motion.
Okay. Do I have a second for that motion?
I so move.
Who was that? I didn't hear that.
Dale.
Dale? Okay. All right. Do we have any more discussion on the issue before we vote? Okay, all those in favor of the motion in which the 2 hours are added on Saturday and the additional hours requested on the weekdays not be submitted, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that's unanimous then. All right. And now, any other comments on the budget?
Well, I think we have to also make a motion for the additional hours, restore the additional hours. for
Okay,
staff.
if you would like to
Yes.
make such a motion, please do so.
I make a motion that we add the additional hours that have been removed. And what was it, 2 hours? 4 hours.
4 hours, okay. Second for that, please?
Sure.
Is that MA? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Any discussion?
Gail,
All right. All those in favor of adding back the 4 hours that have been removed, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
All those opposed? Abstentions? Okay. So now, any more comments about the budget or concerns? Okay, then I would like a motion that we approve the budget with the following changes or caveats: that 4 additional hours, the 4 hours be restored of staff time, and that the library be open for 2 additional hours on Saturday, and that Kevin reflect these in his budget. Anybody would like to make that motion?
I so move.
Okay, Dale, thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All right, vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right, so that is the budget that we're going to be submitting. Kevin, you got all that? Can you make the adjustments to the numbers?
Yeah, no problem. I will, I'll forward it out to the board as I make the adjustments, and I also need to submit it over to Elaine in finance today. So.
Okay, so, but everything's clear to you, right?
Yes, it is. Yes. So
Okay,
2 hours
excellent.
on set, 2 hours for Saturday as opposed to during the week, but everything. else.
Okay, and the restoration of the other 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Is there any other business that we should talk about? And there's nothing else on the agenda?
It's a special meeting, so we can't add anything else.
you
That's-
can't.
No, I mean, we can gossip, can't we?
We can gossip if you want it on the record, but.
Okay, never mind.
We would have
We don't want that
to,
on the record then. Okay. All right,
we
then,
would have to adjourn the meeting if we
if we
want to
gossip.
have
yeah,
any, yeah.
okay. Then I would like to have a motion for adjournment, please.
I so move.
So moved.
And can I have a second for that, please?
I'll second.
Sure, whatever.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions. The meeting is adjourned at 10:28 a.m.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Feel well.
Bye, everyone.